So only what people can see is above the surface. But what they can't see is the work that's been done. The root system is the know-how, the process, okay? Humility, the way you guys handle more than anybody in the city. One step at a time. Right? But the root system's in place. The root system's in place.
Week number 6 of this NFL season, and time for another edition of the Mike McCarthy Show, powered by Reliant Energy, here inside the Globe Life studio at the beautiful Star in Frisco. Bill Jones along with Cowboys head coach Mike McCarthy as the Cowboys get set to play the Detroit Lions, a 3:25 kickoff at AT&T Stadium after a big win in Pittsburgh last week. Coach, these Lions coming off a bye week, a 12-5 season, just like you last year. They made it to the conference championship game and off to a strong start this season. A formidable opponent, to say the least.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think the biggest thing is, like you said, they're off to a strong start. I mean, their video has been excellent, so excellent challenge for us. We've played these guys the last couple of years, so a lot of carryover, but this is an NFC top-notch opponent.
Let's before we dive into the Lions, I want to take you back to Sunday night after the long delay with the weather and so forth, and after midnight, capping that win with on basically the last play of the game, the touchdown pass to Jalen Tolbert. Feeling with the team being able to culminate that weekend with a win like that had to be sort of a euphoric feeling, I would think, for the team.
I mean, definitely, but I just think like anything, we talked about resetting, and we're going to have a number of challenges in the game going into that type of atmosphere. We weren't planning on an hour and a half delay for the weather, but I just thought the players, coaches, and staff did a really good job of staying in the moment, getting off their feet, and frankly, I had no idea it was 1:15 in the morning until we nailed down for the prayer, and Zach Martin said, "Hey, it's 1:15." So it was, but yeah, because it didn't feel like it. It just felt like Sunday night football, and our guys did a great job staying in that game, emotionally, mentally, focusing through those things, and that's how these games are. I mean, when you play top level football in this league, it's going to come down to that last player, that last series.
And we've talked about overcoming adversity, overcoming injuries, and in Jalen Tolbert coming through, not only with the final game-winning touchdown catch, 7 catches, 87 yards, and that touchdown in the game, stepping up into that role after Brandon Cooks gets put on IR.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you just love to see him have the type of success that he's having, because you're able to see how hard he works and how much he pours into this. So, but yes, that's how this game works, and it's no different for us on offense. New players are getting new opportunities, and they need to take advantage of it. And it's because we're not blinking. You have to keep your foot on the gas and keep going.
This Lions defense, what jumps out at me is the edge rusher, Aiden Hutchinson, who's got 6.5 sacks this season. What is it about Aaron Glenn's defense that sticks out to you?
I really like the way Aaron coordinates. I think it's schematically, it's aggressive. He calls it aggressive. Aiden's, definitely one of the top rushers in the game right now. I think he really established himself last year. Obviously, he has a really good physical skill set, but his motor, and the spin move, and so I mean he's going to bring it all day. So it's definitely someone we have to really give a lot of attention.
You had great balance on offense in that game at Pittsburgh, and Rico Dowdle with nearly 100 yards rushing, over 100 yards from scrimmage, including a touchdown reception. It's good to see that balance emerging on this offense, right?
Definitely. I mean, that's the way we want to play. I mean, there's a reason to play that way, week in and week out, because when you do believe in complementary football, that's the method that you want to utilize. The ability to keep your defense off the field as much as possible. We finally won the time of possession, and it really the things we've established last year. So it was good to have a balanced game like that.
All right, we're just getting started on this edition of the Mike McCarthy Show. Up next, it's David Moore of the Dallas Morning News.
The Mike McCarthy Show, powered by Reliant, was brought to you by Blockchain.com. Invest like your icons with Blockchain.com. Ford, your North Texas Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Texas. Bank of America, the official bank of the Dallas Cowboys. And by Miller Lite, the only beer of the Cowboys. This segment is brought to you by Blockchain.com. Invest like your icons with Blockchain.com.
Everybody knows we're in Pittsburgh. We
Damn
don't
right,
give
yeah.
game balls often, but
The Mike McCarthy Show, powered by Reliant Energy, continues as we see the game ball given to Coach McCarthy after the game in Pittsburgh. Now joined by David Moore of the Dallas Morning News, SportsTodayVFW.com. Cowboys have won 3 in a row on the road. What about at home? When was the last time the Cowboys won a home game? Who was the opponent?
Not this calendar year.
Yeah,
Bill.
that's right. You got to barely go back to last calendar year against the Detroit Lions.
Correct. And if you remember the ending of that game, that seemed in doubt down to the end there. But no, it was funny because, and you can do this sort of thing when you win. In the aftermath of winning in Pittsburgh, which Dallas won in the final 20 seconds, to go 3-0 on the road this year, Mike McCarthy said, yeah, now we just have to find out a way to win at home. And but again, a team that won 16 straight has not won this calendar year. You would assume it would come back around the other way, but the 2 home games in the regular season this year were a little rough. Dallas didn't perform well really on either side of the ball in those games. They appear to be executing better than they were in those games. But again, this is a very, very difficult opponent at home.
All right, and my prediction is that tackle-eligible Dan Skipper will be a captain for Dan Campbell.
He may even be announced as eligible on the very first play of the game just to make a point.
That's exactly right. All right, but speaking of their offensive line is one of the strengths of their team and what they're able to do in the run game. It's going to be a real test for this run defense.
Yeah, and want to talk about getting a better gauge on where they are run defensively. You know, New Orleans and Baltimore, they allowed 474 yards and 7 rushing touchdowns in those 2 games. These last 2 against the Giants and Pittsburgh, 118 yards and no touchdowns on the ground. You would imagine it'll be difficult to limit, Detroit to that level. But here's the thing, if you do have relative success against their ground game, and I think they have the 2 best backs in the league on the working out of the backfield, this team can carve you up in the air in a way that Pittsburgh and New York Giants weren't able to. In fact, Jared Goff is coming into this game coming off of a game where he was 18 of 18.
That's right, and with their threats at wide receiver,
Yeah.
and we'll talk
tight end,
with
yeah.
Coach more about that coming up. But yeah, this is more of a test, but going into a bye week next week, the Cowboys are sitting there. If they can get this win, be 4-2 going into the bye week, they would be elated over that, right?
Oh, no question. Especially, I thought the Pittsburgh game was essential because you looked at that stretch with that, Detroit at home, and then coming back out of the bye at San Francisco. You had to pick up at least one of those 3 games to kind of keep all of your goals in place coming out. They got that win now. Now, if you can pick up one of these next 2, they're in pretty good shape given all their injuries.
All right, David Moore of the Dallas Morning News. We appreciate it. Up next year on the Mike McCarthy Show, how about the star of the show on Sunday night in Pittsburgh? That would be one Jalen Tolbert.
This segment was brought to you by Blockchain.com. Invest like your icons with Blockchain.com. This segment is brought to you by WinStar World Casino and Resort. Proud to be the casino of the Dallas Cowboys. Please game responsibly.
Welcome back to the Mike McCarthy Show, powered by Reliant Energy. Time to take a listen to the guy who made the game-winning catch in Pittsburgh on Sunday night, Jalen Tolbert.
Year 3 has been a fun year so far. Beginning at OTAs and obviously going through training camp, my confidence continues to grow. Each and every time that I step on the field, I learn something new, and so I'm having fun with it, and I think that's one of the most important parts of this game is just having fun and continuing to play the game that I love, the way that I love to play it, and continue to find ways to get better each and every day. So I'm liking what I've done so far and working to keep building on it. Obviously, the play before I had a minor injury, and my mindset was I worked this hard, for years for moments like this. I can't come out of the game, and like I said, I got blessed with Coach Tomlin calling the timeout, and it allowed me to go back into the game. But as soon as I had the opportunity to go back in, I was going in no matter what. And like I said, in my head I've worked years for this. This is the moment that I've been waiting for. Whether the ball came to me or not, I wanted to be out there on the last play of the game and have some type of impact on the play, whether it was getting CD open or Terp open or making the game-winning touchdown catch. I was going to be out there. Because of how much time we spend together and how much we work off of each other, we have to trust each other as well. So, I might go out there and, do something wrong, and Jalen Brooks or CD or somebody can, correct me, and vice versa. If I see something that a young guy is doing, or even, B. Cooks or CD is doing, I can, mention it to them, and it's not coming from, a bad spot. They understand that, we have the same goal at hand. I want his best foot forward just as they want mine. So that trust in that room is high, and we continue to keep building that brotherhood and fellowship every day we go out on the field or in the meeting room. And so, like I say, we trust each other, we love each other, and we play for each other. They have a good defensive line, good front, so just trying to neutralize, their speed rush and their pass rush. And like I said, I think a challenge that, is kind of overlooked but not really overlooked is just playing our style of football. We have left a lot of points out there on the field the past 5 weeks, so I think just going out there and playing our standard, playing our style, and I think we'll be fine.
Jalen Tolbert making the most of his opportunities, and Will McClay does that every week with the telestrator. Here we break it out. We go behind enemy lines. The theme this week is thunder and lightning, the Lions' offensive playmakers.
Yep.
Starting with the running backs.
Thunder wakes you up, lightning scares you. We're going to look at Montgomery here, all right? He's the thunder. He is their power back, establishes that physical identity. You're going to see him here. They're going to run a duo run. It's 2-on-1. Then the patience here by the back to see let the blocks develop and then get to the second level.
Okay, there's thunder, and then lightning is Jahmyr Gibbs.
Jahmyr Gibbs, all right? He's 190 pounds. But a very good back with balance and body control in that burst. You'll see it here. They got the defense over here on a passing down. They got to run. Now, that speed to the second level, and then 1, 2, step through that, 3, 4, 5 guys to bring them down.
These two guys combined for nearly 2,000 yards rushing last year. Here's Montgomery again.
Again, you're going to look at a duo run here, and then the patience and the vision. He sets up the block, waits for his duo, all right, and then he's going to make the appropriate cut, and he's going to run hard, and the team's going to rally behind that.
Okay, and then back to Jahmyr Gibbs, who, by the way, was coached at Georgia Tech by former Cowboy Tashard Choice, who has about a half dozen running backs in the league. But here he is again here.
Yep, okay, we're going to look at it here. Again, the vision, stretch. I won't read my blocks, and I put my foot in the ground, and then the contact balance. That's 305 pounds trying to bring him down. He bounces off of that, runs through arm tackles, just runs really hard, plus the explosive burst that he has.
Okay, so thunder and lightning in the backfield and also in the receiving corps, too.
Yep. Over 100 catches by St. Brown here last 2 years. Just a really good route runner and physical and willing to catch the ball in the crowd, bounce off of that contact, stay on his route, and then catch it in the crowd, bounce off of the tackle, stay on his feet. There's thunder.
And then lightning at wide receiver, Jamison Williams, former first-round draft pick out of Alabama.
Here you go, using their personnel. They're showing 21 formation. It's 1st and 10. They're going to take a shot and take a shot with speed. Here you go right here, and that's just straight speed, taking advantage of it on a short side throw for an explosive play.
Averaging 22.2 yards per reception. Our thanks to Will McClay, and the coach rejoins us on the Mike McCarthy Show in just a moment.
This segment was brought to you by WinStar World Casino and Resort. Proud to be the casino of the Dallas Cowboys. Please game responsibly.
Welcome back to the Mike McCarthy Show, powered by Reliant Energy. As the coach rejoins us here, let's talk about this Detroit offense a little bit. And Jared Goff coming off a perfect performance. He was 18 for 18 in their win over Seattle a couple of weeks ago. You look back at the 2016 draft and the quarterbacks drafted, top 2 guys coming out of that draft. Now looking back 8 years later, are the 2 guys squaring off in this game, Jared Goff and Dak Prescott. What do you see from Jared Goff, and what do you recall even when he came out of Cal 8 years ago?
Well, I think the biggest thing is, you looked at his ability to, throw the football, and that other skills that he has. Particularly, I think he moves better than he's been given credit. But yeah, I think he's really, really found his stride. The last couple of years in Detroit, it's a great system, and I think that group as a whole now they've been working together 2-3 years, and you can really see it in their time clocks, their timing, their connection, especially on their perimeter.
And of course, with the tight end, Laporta and St. Brown at wide receiver, but another guy that's emerged this year is their former first-round draft pick, Jamison Williams, who's averaging over 22 yards of reception this year.
Yeah, no, their skills. They have skill all the way through. They do a really good job spreading out. Their run game is top notch. And I think it's clearly one of the better offensive lines we'll face this year.
And that's where we're going next is the run game. And they do have 4 former first-rounders on their offensive line, and they're playing like it now later in their career, veteran guys now. But with Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery, they basically are splitting the reps and the carries and receptions at running back.
Yeah, they have a really good balance. But it's just like anything, it starts up front. And, once again, I think their commitment to the run and, the fact that 18 for 18, that is definitely off of an excellent run game.
All right, you got to be proud of your defense and the way they stepped up in the game against Pittsburgh, and especially want to look at the edge rushers because you're basically down 4 defensive ends, 4 plays into that game when Marshawn Nealon goes out with his injury. How about those guys that stepped up like a Carl Lawson, like a Tyrus Wheat, like a Chauncey Golston? Yeah,
definitely. I mean, Chauncey was the game ball winner, voted on by the coaches, and I think just clearly, it's opportunity presented itself, and those guys went in there and slugged it out. That was a game that obviously after the storm left, it was pretty muggy, and just to be able to play that many reps, particularly when you're not preparing or and the preparation didn't point in that direction. So I thought all those guys did a nice job.
All right, and at the cornerback position, great to see Deron Bland back on the practice field this week. And maybe we're getting very close to seeing the combination of Deron Bland as well as Trayvon Diggs and Jordan Lewis actually playing at the same time on the field in the game.
I mean, it'd be great, but we need to take the whole week. I mean, we got to be smart here. So, but he's excited, we're excited, but we have to go through the process.
All right, we wrap up the Mike McCarthy Show, and we come back in just a moment.
Closed captioning is brought to you by the Texas Lottery. Cowboys scratch tickets from the Texas Lottery are here. Play today.
Final couple minutes here of the Mike McCarthy Show, powered by Reliant Energy. Time for my unsung star of the week. And as I usually say, he's not really unsung because if you watch the game, he was very impressive. And that's big number 93, Linville Joseph, who, by the way, on Thursday turned 36. So happy birthday to him. And he celebrated early, and he had a very nice game against the Steelers on Sunday.
Definitely. I think it was clearly his best game, as a Dallas Cowboy so far. But, we were just talking about the forced fumble play where he just bull rushes the center and guard. So yes, that's exactly how I remember him in Minnesota. It was great
when you're on the other side.
Yeah, I've seen that too many times. I'm glad we're on the same team finally.
So what kind of impact does a veteran guy like that have on a room, and especially on a young guy maybe like a Mozzie Smith?
Big impact, and he's his reputation in the locker room is definitely something that I know I was interested in, and so he's been a great fit for us. And he's just he hasn't been in camp, and now you can see he's really coming on in the football part of it.
All right, I'll throw another guy out there on the offensive line. Tyler Guyton goes down with an injury, and how nice is it to have a guy like Tyler Smith who can kick out and play as well as he does at left tackle when he's already your Pro Bowl player at left guard?
Definitely, special player. Just for him to jump out there, that was huge for us because it gives us that flexibility. Then obviously to play with TJ in there at the left guard. But yeah, I thought Tyler, for minimal reps, that he's been working at the left tackle, because obviously we've been giving Tyler Guyton everything that he can handle. So yeah, that was a big part of our success on offense.
All right, it was Linville Joseph's birthday on Thursday. It's Jerry Jones' birthday on Sunday. Can't think of any better way to celebrate, right?
I agree.
There you go. All right, good luck against those Lions at 3:25 on Sunday. And we appreciate all of you joining us here for the Mike McCarthy Show, powered by Reliant Energy.
The Mike McCarthy Show, powered by Reliant, is brought to you by Blockchain.com. Invest like your icons with Blockchain.com. Ford, your North Texas Ford dealers. Ford is the best in Texas. Bank of America, the official bank of the Dallas Cowboys. Miller Lite, the only beer of the Cowboys. And to watch more Dallas Cowboys content on your connected TV, download the Cowboys Now app on Amazon Fire, Roku, and Apple TV.